What's good, everybody? If you don't know me, my name is Kobe. I run a box truck business for the last 3.5 years now. I own 4 trucks and I'm based out of Las Vegas.
Woke up looking for the broccoli, hot key, keep a horn.
If you can't tell, I'm in a different setup. I'm in my hotel because I'm on the road right now. So I brought my stuff to do a video for you guys. Currently in Grand Island, Nebraska. I'm on my way to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Did a midway stop to get some rest for the night, get some food, so I wanted to do a video. As I was driving today, I was thinking about it. There's so many mistakes that can be made in this business, especially if you don't have the right knowledge and information. Of course, experience comes with time, but I was thinking I wanted to give you guys my 3 biggest mistakes so that I can stop you guys from making these mistakes in the future. My first and biggest mistake, I would say, is financial mistakes in business. Some of the biggest and most common mistakes I've seen and I've done in business is not knowing your cost per mile, not managing your finances correctly as far as profit and loss per quarter and for the year, and spending too much for business in general, not knowing the difference between business expenses and personal expenses. When I first started, like many other people, I would get a load, let's say for $3,000. My thought process was, okay, I'm making $3,000. As a reminder, I started my business at 23. Just how I grew up, I didn't understand finances and I had never ran a business before, so everything was all new to me. So when I would get a load for $3,000, my thought process was I was actually making $3,000, when obviously that's not the case. When that pattern continues, it just leads to bad financial mistakes just in general. You have to learn to budget your truck expenses, your hotel expenses, your insurance expenses, your maintenance expenses, your food expenses, you know? Are you paying for that as your personal self? Is it business paying for that? And of course, your taxes. If you have a driver, what are their expenses? What are you covering? So these are things that someone may understand commonly, but if you had never run a business before and it's one of the first things you've done, you're learning how to manage, you know, $10,000 a week and $8,000 a week and $30,000 a month. It's something that you just haven't done before. So the numbers are so new and fresh. Obviously, you're touching way more money than you were touching at your last job or potentially last business. So before I started my trucking company, I was working for Pepperidge Farm. I owned a route in the city of Las Vegas. I was in charge of 17 grocery stores. So I had Smith's, I had the Vons, I had the Walmarts, I had the Dollar Generals, I had just these different stores, but I was selling to these stores, but I still made a weekly commission. So I was making a percentage on my sales. Coming home with $1,000, $1,500, $1,800 a week for someone is good money. And for me, it was great money at the time. But then when you start working with trucks and the gross numbers are so high, the numbers are different. You know, you never worked with that much money before. So your lifestyle is gonna change. You know, you're gonna go spend $300 at dinner and $400 at dinner. You know, you're gonna go get some ice on your wrist, you know what I'm saying? So understanding your numbers are just so important. And that brings me to my second mistake, which is simply living beyond your means. Living beyond your means is very common for just anybody, whether you own a business or whether you just have a regular 9 to 5. We all have gross numbers that we make and we have our expenses. A lot of times people don't make and save the amount of money and invest the amount of money that they should because they're living beyond their means. Common things are, once you start making more money in life, your expenses get higher. You know, you get a bigger house, you get a nicer car, you got a girlfriend, you might be doing way more things for her, and, you know, just different things like that. A lot of people have debt. Most people have debt. When you start a business, normally you have debt. I was somebody that had debt, but as I started making more money, I wasn't focusing on paying the debt down like I was previously. So I'm trying to make more money, I'm doing more things, but I had never experienced that much money before. So I'm just spending more money more frivolously, you know, not attacking the things that I should have been focusing on previously. So if I have $10,000 in my pocket, but I have $10,000 in debt, you know, truthfully, how much money do I really have? In all reality, I got $0. I'm not supposed to be spending that $10,000 because that debt is sitting there, and usually it's sitting there with interest. So just things that I was not paying attention to, things that I just wasn't doing well enough when I first started, that obviously are completely different now, things that I just wasn't paying attention to that I want you guys to realize and focus on as you're early on in business, so that as time goes, you know, you'll start netting the amount of money that you should be netting. Also, when you're starting out, thinking about a cushion that you need to have. So in all reality, a business is supposed to have business checking and savings. So you're supposed to have money in there for both things. The savings is supposed to be for cash flow when times are hard, trucks are breaking down, and then you're supposed to have your personal account. So what you're paying yourself, whether it's a salary, you're paying yourself as a driver, whatever the case, the cushion for the business is what's most important, especially when you're early on in business. and you're just starting out, there's a rule of thumb in life that you're supposed to have 3 to 6 months money in savings to make sure that if you ever fall in any kind of hard times, that you have 3 months of savings. So, you know, whatever your bills are for those 3 months, you can cover 3 months of not having income, and equate the same thing for business. So my rule of thumb is whatever your expenses are for 3 months and 6 months, to make sure you can have that in savings. If my bills are $8,000 a month, 3 months would be $24,000. I would want that in my business savings, a part of the money that I have as a person, as my individual Kobe King. You know, if I'm looking to do 6 months, then 6 months times, you know, $8,000 a month, that's $48,000. So that's the number that I would be looking to have just to be able to fall on hard times. Now, obviously that's something not easily attainable. You have to work to get those numbers. You have to work to save that amount of money, but that's what we're doing this business for. That's what we are working every day for. We're not working every day just to make ends meet. We're working every day to get ahead. My last mistake, I don't necessarily know how to categorize it. There's many things that were wrong with this story, but I'm gonna just give you guys a story, something I experienced, and just take what you can from it. 2 years ago now, I had a driver that was in a truck. He was coming home from Louisiana. I had a broker call me, say, hey Kobe, I need 2 trucks to go to, I believe it was Connecticut at the time. They said, I'll give you $13,000 for both the trucks. I said, okay. At the time, I only had 1 truck available, so I had to give a load to the other person or another carrier I was working with. He picked up the load, then dropped off the truck to me. I do what I always do. I did a walk around of the truck, and I noticed a lot of damages. The liftgate was damaged, the rims on the front tires were damaged, and then I opened up the hood. The power steering box was leaking out. It was leaking fast. I didn't see any holes or anything, so I just refilled it. But anyways, the truck was already loaded, and we had to get to Connecticut, and I want to say it was 4 days at the time, so quick transit. Called the driver over. We did a walk around the truck. He told me that he didn't hit anything. I believe that he did hit something. He said he didn't, but with the truck had to get on the road, so the next morning he left, and 3 hours down the road, he called me saying that steer tires had ripped up. And I'm like, what do you mean? He sent me pictures. They were like completely ripped. I'm thinking like maybe we're just on bad tires. Called Love's out. They replaced the tires. Cost me $2,000. We drive another 2 hours down the road. He calls me again. One of the tires ripped up, the steer tires. He said it's about to rip. I had to call TA that was nearby. They charged me another $2,000. I had a truck that was returning, and he was in Albuquerque. I had him jump in the truck with the driver to team drive to get the load there. I was on the load myself, so I couldn't help out. They got on the road. The second driver noticed that the tires were looking a little worn out again, so we stopped at a TA. TA had looked at the truck, and they noticed that the track bar underneath the truck was completely bent. It was completely bent. Sent me pictures. They said, hey, I think your driver hit something. Keep in mind, like I said, there were other damages when the truck got home and I did the walk around. So the lift gate, and now the tires are ripping up and doing things they're not supposed to. And I'm down $4,000. So this is quick time. So at the shop, he didn't have a track bar in stock, and it was gonna take a day to get it. So we had to continue our trip. The 2 drivers ended up making it to the delivery. The roads out there are a little better. If you're familiar with the 40, we got past the 40, we're on the 44. Obviously, I'm down $4,000. What I was gonna make on that $6,200 trip, whatever the number was, I already lost that money. So we picked up a load that was nearby, got on the road, the truck shut itself down. So when it's a limp mode, we had to tow it to a shop. I think the tow was probably $1,000, so it's $5 grand. I get a call from the shop. I think your driver hit something. The power steering fluid just leaked out all over our floor. It's a complete mess. I just want to let you know that I think something had happened to your truck. I get home at this time. I don't know what's going on. You know, the driver's just saying, I didn't hit nothing. I didn't hit anything. I have my second driver telling me he hit something. He hit something. So it's this whole thing. I'm depressed. I'm down $5 grand. It's been 4 days, you know what I'm saying? So tough days for sure. And so for sure.
Oh, for sure.
You love saying that word.
Yeah, that shit is funny. I got a lot of that shit's funny. You know, the shop is sending me pictures. The truck had derated for something else. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I ended up spending, I think, $2,800 at the shop that day. So I was basically down $8 grand in the course of a week. If you run in this business, you know that saving money is a very important thing, like I keep saying. I get the truck back home, both the drivers home. I tell the driver, you know, more than likely gonna have to part ways. Please let me know if you did hit something. He's telling me that he didn't, so it is what it is. You know, the truck is where it was at. I'm already down, you know, $8,000. If you know me, I keep my trucks booked and busy, and I didn't have drivers on backup at the time. I ended up being in desperate need. I had a broker that I've worked with, you know, over 200 loads, call me and say, hey, do this run up to Washington. I wasn't available for the run. I think I had already went back out at the time. I'm down $8 grand, so I need to make money, right? I called the driver, you know, we're both down some money. I really just need you to take care of this load. Unfortunately, we're in the situation that we are, but if you are willing to take the load, you know, I have it available. So he says, yeah, I need the money, so I'll take it. So I say, okay. Driver takes the load up to Washington. Now, mind you, it's 10 degrees outside this time. It's snowing, the weather's crazy. Get up to Washington. He's a mile away from the casino where we're about to deliver. He's at the the truck stop and I say, hey, before you get to your hotel, get some diesel treat, the fluid that you put inside the tank so that the diesel doesn't freeze over. Please get 2 bottles of diesel treat, put it in the tank. He says, okay, I got you. He gets to the hotel. I text him, hey, can you run out before you go to sleep just to warm the truck up for a little bit so that's good for in the morning? You know, it's 5 degrees outside, something crazy. It's Alaska, like it's wild. He tells me, okay, I got you. I wake up at like 5 a.m. I text him, hey, is the truck running? He says, I've been trying to start it for the last hour, it's not starting. I'm like, well, did you put the diesel treat in it? No, because I talked to the cashier at the truck stop and he said there was oil in our diesel, so I didn't put it in the tank, it wouldn't freeze over. Why didn't you put it in the tank? Well, I thought it was gonna be fine. So he's trying to start the truck, we can't get it started, delivery time comes. So I have to tow this truck to the casino to make our delivery. $1,000 for a mile tow. We do the delivery. Now I have to find a shop to take the truck to figure out, try to warm it up so it eventually can get the diesel lines to not be frozen anymore. $1,000 to get over there. That's $2,000. The low was $4,000. I'm already, paying him, I'm already at a loss, right? Get over to the shop, another $6 grand at the shop. I had to put a fuel pump in. It was a few things, I don't remember exactly, it was 2 years ago. So I say all of that to say, I made a grave mistake by allowing that driver back in my truck knowing we weren't on the same page, knowing that something like that could happen. Obviously, in my opinion, he was lying about something. I take accountability for that because I allowed him back in my truck. Secondly, I didn't have a driver on backup. Lastly, the goal was to make some money and I chased money instead of trying to fix the situation I had already put myself in. I hope you can take something out of that. And although we make money daily in this business, if you don't learn these things, whether you're taught these things or whether you spend the time to learn these things, these are mistakes that you can make. I don't want you to be like me. That's why we're here right now. So I'd probably have way more money if I didn't make these mistakes. So take it with a grain of salt. I want to shout out Mika, one of my the carriers I work with out of Vegas. I really appreciate her comments. She recently responded to someone in my comments saying there was cap in one of my videos, which is mind-boggling. But those that know how hard this business is, you know, a lot of people are posting content making things look easy, but I'm also making content that showing the negatives, downsides. But appreciate her posting that because we do go to war every day and not everybody has a dishonest motive when it comes to, you know, trying to put people on game and trying to educate. And that's what we need in the space. That's what we need in life. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm putting my mistakes in front of you guys. I did make $117,000 last month, but I've also lost $117,000 doing different things, making mistakes. For all those that are supporting, I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Keep liking, commenting, make sure you subscribe, and keep looking out for my videos. Like I said, we're doing a vlog right now, so the vlog is on the way. Keep taking this information with a grain of salt, you know what I'm saying? Shit. Yeah, we in here finna get some tacos, because I love tacos, so we finna go get some tacos.
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday!